And we are live now. It is week 11, fantasy football preview. Got all of us here. We're on like a pretty nice streak here of having all four of us on the show, by the way. I just want to point that out. Thank you. I don't think I've thanked you guys for taking, however much of your time out each week to do this and blabber along to the no ones that are watching, although the tens of people that are watching. So thank you for showing up on a weekly basis. And Mark, I'll give you some. You're handing out a commissioner's award. I'll hand out an attendance award at the end of the year. I mean, I think you got it wrapped up at this point, but
Good, I can leave then.
something you can hang on your fridge at home. Oh man! So before we dive into injuries and headlines and all that good stuff, I have something I want to talk about. A question I want to pose that I know that's going to be posed that you're not going to want to talk about, but I'm going to want to talk about because I want to hear your thoughts. And I mean, I just said thank you, but I run the show, and Max is shaking his head because he knows what I'm going to ask. So, for those of you that were watching on Monday night, there's the Sanchez took over. Now, I know it was against Carolina, and I know, Sanchez can still be Sanchez. But at this point, having seen what you saw on Monday, does he replace Foles? Yes or no? And why not?
Are you talking about Foles
Based
with
on
the
one
broken collarbone or Foles healthy?
A healthy Foles. I mean, just judging by what you saw, I mean, Max, we sort of had a quick back and forth on Twitter about this. Sanchez is a much more entertaining quarterback to watch. I mean, you just plain and simple. Foles is boring as hell. Sanchez is a more mobile quarterback. And you can, what? Stop me and go.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah, go for it.
This conversation's bordering on delusional. I'm going to mute myself politely, and you can indicate when you're done talking.
No, I just have one quick thing to say. My gut says yes, but only if he leads the Eagles to a victory in Green Bay, absolutely.
My gut says yes. Are you guys like
It's a legitimate question.
or something?
What's
Sanchez's record with the Eagles?
1-0.
What's Foles' record with the Eagles?
What was he? 9 and something down the stretch last year. He was 6-2 this year.
He has not played well this year. His stats
he has not. And you go back to 2012. He was 1-5 in 2012.
I don't care about stats. He wins, and last year he threw 1 interception or 0 interceptions, whatever it was, like 29 touchdowns. And
you got to care about stats. You have to care about stats.
Okay, well, what about those stats?
Alex Smith is not leading the Chiefs to victory. That team is leading the Chiefs to victory every week. Alex Smith, I mean, they would be a powerhouse with a better quarterback.
What about those stats?
What, last season?
That he threw 29 touchdowns and 1 interception.
Yeah, but look at the current.
You got it. And the thing is, Kelly, if you look at Kelly, he's a guy that's what have you done for me lately? I mean, he let Mike Vick win that starting job, and Vick went down. Foles stepped in and played really well. Now that Foles went down, if Sanchez steps in and continues to put up the numbers he's putting up, I mean, you got to ride the hot hand, don't you?
If anything, it shortens Foles' leash a little bit more. Like maybe he comes back and he has like 2 or 3 games where he doesn't do good. Then you could start talking about him. He's your starting quarterback. He knows your offense. This is Sanchez's first game in the league, and I hope Foles stays out just so we can prove it. Just so 3 weeks from now we can have this conversation again, and both of you guys beat Red out of embarrassment for saying that Sanchez could ever replace Foles.
We won't have to wait that long. We'll talk about it next week after Green Bay. That's going to be the decider.
It's going to be telling. It's going to be telling. So I don't want to spend too much more time on it, but Foles is out basically for the year. He's got 6 to 8 weeks with the collarbone, so we have plenty of time to let it sink in, and what happens. But it's going to be interesting to watch. I love the system, and everyone was talking this week about the system and how it's a quarterback-friendly system, and it's a place where you can go and rejuvenate, wash away those Jet years, and come back a new man.
I want to see the third conference championship featuring Mark Sanchez.
So let me I want to get this straight. You two are both comfortable with Mark Sanchez starting a home playoff game for your team.
I am.
I absolutely am. After watching Monday,
Yeah.
After
After
watching
watching
Monday,
And some preseason.
1.5.
Preseason.
And some
After
preseason.
watching-
The thing is about that, I don't like the preseason argument only because people look at what Kirk Cousins. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, he's such a great quarterback, preseason quarterback. Look what he does." And then look at him now. He got benched for Colt McCoy.
I wish I could just like
Tough to judge
rewind.
people in the preseason, but
I wish I could just rewind this whole tape and like for you to talk about Nick Foles, and it wasn't just you, but at the beginning of the season you were talking about Nick Foles being a top like a number 1 first or second round draft choice, like Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, Nick Foles, like that's Andrew Luck. Those are the people that we were talking about,
Those
and
are
now
all-
you're saying,
Yep. yeah.
Those are wrong.
okay,
They were.
so you're saying you were wrong. You're
Yeah.
wrong. Correct.
Clearly.
Absolutely.
Clearly.
What did you base that on?
The previous
His
season.
last year's stats.
You were wrong with 9 games worth of data to establish. You have one game of Mark Sanchez, and you're ready to put your franchise behind him.
Well, we're I mean, you're kind of bashing what we're doing here. That's all any of us do. All we have to go off of is
Save
the
it for
previous
bold
week.
predictions, man. Save it for bold predictions.
Save
Please.
it for bold predictions.
This is crazy.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. So all the jokes, we all made jokes. They were warranted jokes. He deserved to be made fun of. He was horrible.
Sure.
He played bad.
Let me get this straight. He's good now.
No.
He's good.
No, he's
bad.
The system is good for him.
So you're theorizing any quarterback that plays in that system will be solidly above average because he's like
Yes.
the definition of a replacement level QB. 55% career completion percentage, more picks than touchdowns. God awful.
One thing I wasn't.
The system.
It was
Right.
game 1.
Colt McCoy.
So
Do you think Colt
this
McCoy
is-
would be like a 10-6 quarterback in the Philly offense? How about Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, well, not even the Philly
not
offense,
bad.
the Philly
It's-
defense, the Philly team. How many?
Well,
Matt,
okay, what about Matt Barkley? How is he worse than Santa? Is there any? Can you?
Max,
But
you have the Eagles defense, correct?
I do.
How many touchdowns did they score you?
2.
They had 14 points. You had if the offense didn't take a snap the entire did Carolina score towards the end?
21.
They scored-
Yeah.
21 points.
Okay. So going into the fourth quarter, if the offense didn't take one snap the entire game, you guys would have won because your defense held them to 7 points, and you guys scored 14. What sort of pressure was there on Mark Sanchez to do anything?
At the beginning of the game.
A ton. Hold on. There was
And he
a ton
was
of pressure on Mark
terrible.
Sanchez. There
He
was
was terrible.
prior to starting the game. You can't say there was no pressure on Mark Sanchez.
Okay, I'm saying during that game.
He had how many years of history with the Jets that he was trying? He had to basically play off of his shoulders going into that game.
When Mark Sanchez needed to perform earlier on in the game, whenever all the pressure was on him, he didn't perform.
31 points.
That's not true.
That
Seth.
offense put up
And,
31
there
points.
was.
Look at his first half stats.
hmm
I'll look him up now. Go ahead and talk.
Okay, I'll
Look at
say
his
this though.
first half stats.
He went 20 of 37. That's not.
I don't like the completion percentage, and that I
that's
chalk up. That I chalk up to first game jitters. I do.
That's his career. That's actually 59%.
I know
which is
it's. I
well
know.
above his
I know
career.
it's on par. I know it's on
No,
par.
it's
I know it's
above-
on par.
It's above par. He's 55% in his career. League average starters are like 63%, and that's 5 years worth of data.
Oh man. All right, but go to yards per completion. Go to quarterback rating. Go to. There's another stat in there, and they were all in top 10 all time yards. They were all in top 10 all time for him, and that's in one full game in the Philly offense.
Okay. Ooh, we'll have to agree to disagree. The Philly offense isn't some magic potion that turns bad quarterbacks into good. He will throw a pick that'll make you sad, and it'll happen sooner than
Of
later.
course, everyone will. You can't. No one's not going to throw an interception.
Here's a hypothetical. Over under for games started by Matt Barkley.
This season,
Half a game. Does he? So basically, does he start a game or not?
under. Well, he already started well, he didn't start. He played a quarter, but start under.
Okay. Okay.
Why? You think he's going to get in?
Yes. I think Sanchez will get benched.
Benched because
Yes.
of injury or benched because of performance?
Yes.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to agree to disagree. That's fine. All right. Well, with that, let's just quickly move into injuries. And I didn't really have any other headlines. I don't know if you guys want to throw any out there, but obviously the big injury this week was Carson Palmer going down. Second time in the last 8-9 seasons that he has torn that left ACL and that left knee. He might be done with the Cardinals. This was coming off, just a few days after signing that 3-year extension, $50 million, whatever. And there's a chance for them to not really owe him any of that money because of injury. They could end up cutting ties because that's an injury that second time now it's gonna take a while to come back from. So Drew Stanton stepping in, do what you will there. Ronnie Hillman suffered a foot injury on Sunday. C.J. Anderson, I know he was picked up in our league with Ball going down and did really well over the last 2 games. And Ball is actually close to coming back, so I don't know what that does to Anderson's stock. Reggie Bush still dealing with an ankle issue. Lamar Miller still playing through shoulder sprain. But the other thing to consider there is that they just had an offensive lineman went down. I think it was their left tackle, left guard. That was big for them. Peyton Hillis has a concussion, so what you will of that. Brandon Marshall had a bad ankle sprain. Allen Robinson and Allen Hurns, both of the Allens went down in Jacksonville. Robinson is out for the season. Hurns had a concussion, so that really does a lot for such a short stop. And last one, Zach Miller. He's been out for a while, but was officially placed on season-ending IR.
Did you say Giovanni Bernard?
And Gio Bernard is still. What's that?
You always forget about old.
I know he's never on the. Whatever sheet I pull out here every week is not one that likes to include Gio.
That's bizarre because he's
had a hell
of a year when he's played.
SB Nation, so you can blame them.
He's
I'll just
out.
make a note of him. Yeah.
According to Yahoo, he's out.
And Delaney Walker has a concussion, so he's probably going to sit week 11. So there's all that. Anything else you all want to throw out there?
The big game this week is Arizona-Detroit, and it's pretty interesting because it is essentially the Drew Stanton Bowl because he got drafted by Detroit, wasted away on the bench for like 4 or 5 years, and now he gets his revenge.
Now he can stick it to his team, or his former team. Oh, man. So with that, it's time to move into right and wrong. So who wants to? I don't want to start here because
you lost.
I lost. So
I'll start. Some clutch pickups. Martavis Bryant and Jordan Matthews, who were just sitting, waiting to be gobbled up on on the wire. Both scored in the 20s. Bryant had 24 points. Matthews had 27 points, and then Jimmy Graham had 21 points. It was a monster week this week. And then the Eagles D threw up 31. So it was looking like it was going to be a close game, and then it was not a close game. So a lot of things went right. It was pretty nice.
Well, while you're talking about what's his name, Jordan Matthews, I'll go ahead and say that one of my wrongs was that I was the guy that cut him, that made him available to you. So obviously he's not to mention this name again, but he's developed quite the chemistry with Sanchez early on there, so that's nice for them. But yeah, that did not do me well. And then the other thing that went wrong is pretty much I had my best lineup out there in points wise. I think I only could have gotten 2 more points out of a wide receiver off of my bench. But was sitting back and watching Ben Roethlisberger throw a garbage time 80-yard TD to Martavis that basically sealed my loss. So there was that.
Speaking of your team, are you worried about Macklin?
You didn't play me. Oh, you played against Roethlisberger.
Yeah, I played against Roethlisberger, so that was garbage. And yeah, a little bit.
If you're high on Matthews, like by definition, like you should be low.
It did hurt him, at least on Sunday. It hurt him against a defense that he should have done well. I think he was like projected for almost 20 points in that game. And for what I think, defenses might have been zeroing in on, or at least the Panthers might have been zeroing in on him after 2 big games.
I don't think Sanchez can throw the deep ball. That's a problem.
That's to see where you're going with this. That's fine. Whatever you think, but we'll see. We'll see where it goes. He's going to take his shots. He took his shot the first pass of the game against the Texans, so I'm not too worried. Jury's still out though, so we'll see. Next.
Well, I guess I'll go next, but I'm going to tease it a little bit. So, do you know what's more confusing than two relatively intelligent people that want Mark Sanchez as their starting quarterback? And the answer to that
3?
is not. Is the Chicago Bears. I don't know what the heck that team is. I thought they were good. They have all the weapons in the world. They're supposed to have an offensive mind coach that can put up big points. And with Jake McCown of Tampa Bay fame, as their starting quarterback,
Jake McCown. Clown.
They put up all kinds of numbers last season. And now with Cutler and his fish-like face, wishy-washiness, can't put up any points, and allows Aaron Rodgers to drop a 44 bomb on you. I don't care how good your team is, you're not going to win. So that and Ronnie Hillman went out with an injury with 1 point. So that's what went wrong for me.
Also, I just want to just for the integrity of the show, I want to say Josh. Replace Jake with Josh.
McCown. Oh yeah,
that's unless this guy entered the league that we didn't know about.
I can't even remember his first name.
Maybe his friends call him Jake.
Could be a nickname.
Also, someone on this damn show, excuse my language, but I'm that mad. I literally walk into their house, and he looks at me in the eyes and goes, "Hey, don't worry, I'm going to take your trade offer next week." And I go, "I'm not going to offer you that trade this week." He goes, "Well, I kind of need Jimmy Graham this week." I was like, "Okay, well, I'm going to have Gronkowski next week, so I'm not going to do it." So thanks, Max. That cost me,
Well, don't give me a BS trade.
You said you were going to take it.
Yeah, but not with the conditions that Gronkowski was going into a bye.
You didn't need him to win. You had Ertz, and if you would have had Selleck, you would have even more points. Well, not maybe more points.
It would have. I don't have Selleck. It would have been really close if I didn't have Jimmy Graham. So.
All right, Mark, that leaves you.
But next week.
All right. Well, I won, and it was a business-like victory as always. The players that were supposed to do well did well. Played a near optimal lineup. But the difference this week is Jared Cook, who is probably the fantasy football personification of hell, actually did something. He scored a touchdown, and that was enough for me. He's usually good for about 2 points. I start him every week.
Good stuff.
That's all I have to say about that.
All right. Well, all right. So moving right along then. So MVP of last week. I'll start quickly. The same thing could be said about Aaron Rodgers that was said about Ben the last few weeks, but I am going to go with Marshawn Lynch. 4 rushing touchdowns is impressive. I looked it up real quick. It's going to seem less special than it is, but it's only been done 51 times in NFL history, which is not that often. So the last time, actually, Max, you would appreciate this, I think, or maybe not, is the last person that did it was in 2012 was Doug Martin. So I don't know what that says about 4 rushing touchdown games, but they don't happen often. And, yeah, so I'll stick it with Marshawn. We're against the Giants.
Seth, he's not still on your team, is he? Seth?
Who? Sorry.
Doug Martin.
Oh, yeah, he's still on my team.
You got to ride it out.
Gotta ride it out. He doesn't start. I have his backup who's better than him.
Bobby Rainey.
Yeah, Bobby Rainey. He's going to get the carries whenever he's healthy. So I'm just waiting for that breakout game. Don't worry.
Next MVP. Looking back.
Okay. All right, I'll go. Excuse me, I do my careful betting process for the weekly MVP. Well, it's not Luck because he's on a bye, so I'll scroll down the list.
This is last week, Mark.
I know. Well, he was on a bye. But I will predict Andrew Luck will be the MVP of this coming week. And that's not even so I can talk
have to go to you
next. I'll just go Rodgers. That's easy. You say he had to start. You're starting him, you get the points, you win. That's MVP.
Let's while we're on the topic of Aaron Rodgers, just a quick go around here. Could he have stayed in to throw 2 more touchdowns? He only
Yes,
needed 2 more at the half.
absolutely.
I totally agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I thought he should have too.
More. I want 10.
He could have thrown 10. Just do it.
I mean, what do you care? You're not playing them again this year. You hate them anyway, and they suck. So what?
Well, the care is that you risk getting injured. That's the care.
They can't touch them. You just threw 6 touchdown passes. Obviously, they're not generating a pass rush.
I agree. I agree with you. That's the risk. That's just saying.
Cowards.
I mean,
They're not even in the playoffs. What do they care?
I felt so. Aaron Rodgers is my MVP also. I felt so safe going into my matchup. He had Aaron Rodgers and Alshon Jeffries. I had Cutler. I was up by like 15. I know we're not supposed to talk about teams, but I was like, I got this. Cutler's going to put up, maybe like 20. Rodgers will probably put up like 30. But it doesn't matter, man. I got this. Not the case. Not the case. Tale of 2 quarterbacks, man. That game just epitomizes why you need a good quarterback.
Yep. Bummer. That's the way fantasy rolls sometimes.
Crazy. All right, so then looking ahead to next week.
Ooh.
Andrew Luck.
Andrew.
Tom Brady? Tom Brady.
That's a fair counterpoint.
I like it. Tom Brady, Gronkowski, all the Patriots coming fresh off the bye. I like it.
That's an interesting game. I'm trying to look at the line on it now.
I'm guessing Patriots. Where is it?
What's it?
Patriots by 3.
In Indy. Ooh, no. 2.5.
That's
Indianapolis.
Close. What? Crazy.
But really, home teams usually get like 3. So.
Yeah, I factored that in.
Just because I need him to, this is slightly biased, and although he hasn't had a breakout game in a while, I'm going to go with Le'Veon Bell as my MVP. Steelers need a rebound game after that horrible showing, which me and Mark called. Hey, pound one out for you, Mark. But
yeah, our team sucks.
Yeah, our team's terrible, but I think
you watched it. That's just that thing.
We reestablished the run. I think that we get a little bit more on screen plays and such not. So I'm going to go with Le'Veon Bell.
And a golf clap for you guys for totally calling the trap game when I thought
twice
you were
this year.
Well done. Well done. Out of nowhere.
This is a group of jaded fans. We're not blinded by like the so-called easy games. We're unbiased enough to know that Tampa's going to win and the Jets are going to win.
And how
sad
those are the losses, though? How bad does it look that those are the losses?
Terrible.
Well, it doesn't bother
it's
me.
Terrible, Rob.
The coaching staff is horrible, and we've already treaded on this ground. It's an extension of the coaching.
It's rough.
Meanwhile, retired Bruce Arians is doing a victory lap around the entire NFL. He's shown the door, not even given the dignity of being fired. Madden 2011, I'm still angry now.
I'm going to make a rough, not to cut your Steeler hatred short, but to make a rough MVP pick for this week, I'm going to go with Rodgers. It's tough to
I know why.
It's kind of easy though. I know. Let me go.
Games come go back to back.
What's that? Yeah,
they come in bunches.
Yeah.
Apparently this year they do, but for legitimate reasons, the Eagles defense, they're don't get me wrong, they're fantastic fantasy-wise, putting up tons of points, scoring special teams points, scoring defensive points. But in terms of just explosive plays, which the Packers have been pretty, over the last few years, they generate a lot of big plays. Eagles this year, their passing D has given up 11 40-yard or longer pass plays, which is second worst in the league, behind only I think it's Houston that has 12. So the Eagles have given up 11, and they're just giving up yards in just chunks. Their cornerbacks didn't get an interception until this week against Cam. Bradley Fletcher, don't get me wrong, is playing tight coverage, but I can't see him and Kerry Williams, Kerry Williams is playing really soft, by the way. I know he gave up, it was garbage time last week, but gave up 2 just disgusting touchdowns to Kelvin Benjamin. And that's a rookie going up against Williams. So you got someone like Jordy Nelson or Randall Cobb going out against him. It doesn't. The matchups on the outside don't look good to me. And I see that over under I think is set at like 55 right now. I think it could go well above that. But Rodgers is set up for I think another pretty spectacular performance.
Yeah, just
unfortunately.
Our pass rush is good. The Eagles' pass rush is good, and the Packers have a bad line.
Yeah.
So if they can get to him, then the concern is Rodgers still is mobile. So people forget about that.
So was Cam Newton.
Yeah, well, not this year. He was. I mean, he's hurt, so it's tough to call Cam a mobile quarterback right now. But
not according to the coach.
Yeah, well, Ron, stupid shit coaches say. So.
I'll do another one. I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut off here.
No, I'm done. I was about to transition.
All right. I was going to say Shane Vereen. I always feel like I have this weird vibe with him, and I feel like they only save him for big games. So that's why he's so frustrating, because a lot of games you think like juicy matchup, Vereen, and they like match out Jonas Gray or somebody like that. But I feel like in the bigger games they use him because he's more of like a specialty player, and they pull out like all the stops in games they have to win. So I think he's a good play against Indy.
That's cool. I like that. Any others before we move into matchups, which I guess that could have technically been considered our first matchup.
I like
that first.
Pittsburgh against Tennessee. I like Pittsburgh to have a comeback game here. I don't know what the Pittsburgh crew thinks of that, but I think they're going to right the ship here.
What do you think, Pittsburgh crew?
I mean, I think the people that you expect to perform. I think if Bryant has a 100-yard game and at least one touchdown, maybe two, we could get beat. We could easily get beat. Though I mean, it's nothing is past this team. So with that being said, I think that I predict Le'Veon Bell to have a really good game. I know Tennessee has an okay run defense, but the problem with Tennessee is, and I guess you could say this about every team that we lost to, is I just don't know where their weapons are. Like, who's their big play maker on Tennessee? Nate Washington?
Yeah.
Delanie Walker?
And having just switched to quarterback too. I mean, they still got was it Mettenberger's in there right now?
Yeah. So I mean, Delanie.
Battle of the Burgers.
I expect Delanie Walker to have a good game, but yeah, everything points to Pittsburgh just laying it on again. So
I don't think so. I expect a Steelers win, but an undisciplined, poorly performance. I say 26-13, but it's going to look like garbage. They're going to play horribly.
I'm close to the end.
I hope we see another leaping over the line when QB Neal in victory formation. Shiano men, looking like Shiano
men. What rule was that? Like a Shiano man? Shiano rule number 8. Like a Shiano man never quits.
Never quits.
Ridiculous. One matchup I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna sound maybe crazy, but maybe not at the same time. That I'm concerned about is, as I got a light flickering behind me, is the Raiders and Chargers. Anyone else concerned about San Diego?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they suck. I think they're terrible. Yeah.
I don't see how
crazy. I mean, it's I don't know. It's sneaky right now. It's like a sneaky bad team. Maybe not right now because they've lost 3 straight.
Who did they score 0 against?
Miami.
They got annihilated.
In Miami. That's what they went into their bye with. So and now they got to host Oakland. I know it's Oakland on the road, which makes it a little bit nicer for San Diego, but still, that's a team that is in a world of hurt right now.
Another
dying for a win.
Another underrated thing. This might be Oakland's last chance to get a win.
Really?
Yeah, it's legitimate.
Schedule: Kansas City at St. Louis, San Francisco at Kansas City. Oh wait, that's right. Buffalo, and then Week 17 Denver. So
they can beat Buffalo and they can beat St. Louis. That's
now,
not the
at St. Louis, do you think Oakland's gonna go in the Edward Jones Dome?
They almost beat Seattle in Seattle. They can do anything.
No, once you go to the Edward Jones Dome, you're not gonna win. Everyone knows this. You don't travel to St. Louis. Go in their
And
house.
one other one I want to throw out there, just on the other side of the coin, is well, two more. One, I think I know I mentioned that I think Green Bay and Philly is going to be high scoring, but equally as high scoring could potentially be New England and Indy. And not to throw some cold water on your Edward Jones dome, but the Broncos, I feel like they're just going to lay out the Rams.
Well, that's a
So
different
I think
story.
there's
Yes.
tons of fantasy scoring potential in those two games there. And another interesting one, what do you think about San Fran going to the Giants this weekend?
I think
That's a
the
blog
Giants
game.
Are going to get crunched. I think the Giants are awful. They're pretty much a dumpster fire.
I think both those teams
They are, but can we talk about how they hung in Seattle for like a good two quarters?
They stink.
Maybe?
They stink.
Oh, yeah, it's the person that-
Nothing gives me confidence about New York. They're horrible.
Isn't it
Eli?
a shame?
No. Nope. Sorry. Who's he throwing to?
Odell Beckham. That dude
Ooh.
looks good.
Hey, Seth, I just want to point out that he was offered in a trade to you.
Yeah, I think if I would have taken him and Gore, I probably would have won also. I don't know. Ingram had a good game, so Gore's sharing.
I know it was a lot of pieces. It was a lot of pieces. We had like a 3-for-3 trade, but so it was a lot of things to consider. But I think that might have been one of the most balanced trades that were offered.
Mm-hmm.
Ingram's production's going to go down once Pierre Thomas comes back, which is supposed to be this week. Something to consider.
So there's that to consider.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, unless we have no more matchups to talk about.
Here's one I don't have an opinion on, but one I do want to talk about is Seattle, Kansas City.
That's a good one.
That's quite the game.
In Kansas City?
Yes.
In Kansas City. Really tricky
Battle of
one.
the
I'm not
game
sure how to pick that
managers.
one yet.
I like Kansas City big.
You like Kansas
I like
City,
'em
big?
I don't know if I like them big. I like them close.
I'll take that.
I don't
I'll
know if
take
Seattle
that.
travels all that well.
Do you think they score their first touchdown to a wide receiver?
No.
No, they
Not
go the whole
not
year?
with those- they don't need to. They're not going to go the whole year, I don't think. You don't know, I don't think. But
Mark, I will take Seattle. What's the line on that?
Kansas City -1.
one, yeah.
I'll take Seattle.
I take Seattle there.
Seattle's in good shape. Or, I mean, Kansas City. I think they're pretty safely a wildcard team.
Why? Because they have Jamal Charles?
Maybe more. What?
Yeah, I can't see them leapfrogging Denver right now.
If they win this game, they'll be 7-3. So they'll be a game on Denver, but they also get to play Denver. They get Oakland next week, so they'd be 8-3, and then they host Denver.
They're going to get demolished by Denver.
I don't think they will. They played them close last time. And they have a good...
They always do. Well,
But 2 more games
I guess
against Oakland? That's pretty nice. That's 2 wins right there. Like, even before this game, you might as well call them 8-3. They're not going to lose to Oakland.
it's fair. Well, I guess that just leaves us with. I feel like we're moving quickly, but with some bold predictions.
Bold predictions,
Who's gonna
not
take 'em?
fantasy relevant. So I'm going to call this my Max Parker special.
Ooh.
Okay. Eagles, best team in the NFL.
Whoa!
That's craziness. I don't even
God.
agree with that.
The
What are you sucking up
worst
for,
thing-
Seth? What are you
the
trying to
worst-
do here? What do you want?
Yeah. The worst thing about the Eagles right now is their offense. That's
Yeah,
the
isn't that
worst
crazy?
thing about the Eagles. Their special teams are hands down, like, I can't think of a better special teams right now.
It was the
They're
Bears, but not anymore.
What's that?
It was the Bears, but not anymore.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, whenever I saw Sproles, and it's not even like he did anything fancy. He made one move to go up the field, and he almost broke a second one later on in that game. So
Yeah.
if you have
Ran right into his own guy.
yeah, or else he would have scored. So if you have a defense that is, maybe it's not the most solid as far as yardage or even holding teams to a certain amount of points, but if it has the opportunity to get 9 sacks a game, how many turnovers do you guys have? 4, 3, 4? I mean,
Last night? Oh, you mean for our defense?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
almost evened out their turnover differential on the season last week, which is
It's 5, I think.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, they were
So,
turnovers.
I mean, I went back. The only thing that is a little bit scary and sketchy with the Eagles is, well, first off, you guys were never out of any game. That Cardinals loss that you had could have easily been won. And I'm trying to think of who else you
San
lost.
Fran won. San Fran.
San Fran.
They were down in the red zone. Those two
It scored
red zone
0 offensive points that game.
So,
It could be a 9-0 team.
It could be a 9-0 team, but also if you look at the teams you guys beat, I think one team has an over 500 record, and that was the Colts.
Yep.
And again, that could easily be attributed to the same thing that the San Francisco game. It could easily been Indy winning, but whenever a Chip Kelly run team, their offense is the worst thing. That is a good sign. So I think you guys are the best. There's not a team in the NFL that you guys can't beat. And with the Steelers, there's about 15, and it's all the teams that are under 500, and nobody even goes to their games anymore. So be very happy. Be very happy with the team that you have. Honestly, any team in the NFL, I think Eagles right now.
Well, here's the thing, though. This game, obviously, this week is enormous just for the playoff implications. Because even at 7-2, playoffs are not a certainty.
I think I know it's tough to say because the Packers still. I mean, they're sitting there with 3 losses. But I think the winner of that game, and again, I know there's still quite a few weeks left. The winner of that game probably, at least, gives themselves a very real chance of having locked in a bye, I would say.
Oh no,
that's crazy talk.
Definitely not a bye yet.
I know it's early. But I think that game propels someone into a situation where a bye is very likely.
Mm-hmm.
One of Philadelphia, Seattle. Actually, we'll throw a San Fran. I'm trying to think how I want to phrase this. I guess one of Philadelphia, Dallas, Seattle, and Green Bay.
Arizona
won't make it. I'm assuming Arizona's in.
Yeah, I'm assuming.
You said I thought you were talking about going for the bye.
But there's a logjam. Like, think of San Francisco. They're a quality team at 5-4, and they're like way on the outside looking in. They need a lot of help.
Green Bay, Green Bay might not even make make That's crazy.
They're not in it right now. They're out on tiebreakers. So they lose this game. That's devastating.
Yeah, it is huge.
All right. Well, to transition back to a fantasy bold prediction, I don't know how bold this is considering they're going up against a defense that just gave up back-to-back 50-point game outbursts, but Teddy Bridgewater, top 3 fantasy quarterback this week.
Oh, man, that's bold.
going up against Chicago. So
that is
that's the only reason that pick is being made. Mark, are you okay?
I've now heard that Sanchez is the face of the franchise and Teddy Bridgewater's a top 3.
So let me step in here.
I love him. I love him this week going against Chicago, especially at Chicago. They're winless at home this year. They're awful at home this year, and they're not going to have Marshall, and it's just a mess. So
if you have any respect
for him to continue,
sir, you will start Teddy Bridgewater. I call you out, sir. Start Teddy Bridgewater.
Not over Peyton Manning, I won't.
Start him.
Well.
Is Manning one of your top 2?
Yeah,
Peyton. Yeah, going against St. Louis, absolutely. So.
Number 1, number 2.
Your own logic.
So there's that. Beat that, folks.
I've got. I'll raise you a Mark Sanchez top 10 fantasy QB this week.
Oh, that's nothing.
Top 5. Does that sweeten the deal? Top 5.
It does. Yeah.
I think a little better than that.
Come on, top 3, Max. You got it.
Nope.
I want
Sanchez, Bridgewater, and Stanton are your top 3 this week.
Just say number 1. I know you want to.
Number 1.
I predicted, bold predictions don't have to be right. I predicted the Red Rifle to be a top 3 quarterback at one point in time.
Oh, man.
Well, I predict Mark Sanchez fails to finish the game.
Ooh.
Fantasy.
Why do you love doing those ones, Mark?
the wishing injury on players.
Yeah.
Who was it last week?
Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
Russell Wilson won't
it's
finish
so
the game.
absurd. It's an awful prediction to make.
Well, no, it was a prediction. The Giants win only if Russell Wilson gets injured. Look how genius it is. The Giants didn't win, and Russell Wilson didn't get injured, so therefore I'm right.
All right, I got another one. Ready? Chew. Okay. The whole reason I did this was so I could make a point that the choo train will completely fly off of the San Francisco 49ers. They end up losing to the New York Giants.
Is that a turn of phrase?
Yeah, no, what are you talking about?
Huh?
It's a bandwagon? I don't
No,
know.
I'm trying to say the train's going off the rails, but
The wheels,
I'm
the
at a
wheels
loss.
come off. The wheels come off.
That's a wagon. That's like a wagon.
the train?
The wheels don't fly. It goes off the rails. Of the train.
Dude, why can't it be a train? Anything that has wheels. It falls to pieces. The San Francisco 49ers fall to pieces, led by if he starts, Rashard Jennings run attack that puts up over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. So that's what my prediction is.
all right.
Here's
Well,
one.
I got one too. All right.
I'll go for it.
Okay. Hey, can I get a ride? Yeah, sure. That's me hopping on the Atlanta Falcons bandwagon. NFC South. 3-0 in the division. I know they're 3-6. They're winning the division. They're going to get back to 9-7. Hot finish.
That division is awful. It's entirely possible.
Or actually, we'll just say 8-8. That's a little more realistic. 8-8 in the playoffs. And they
The
get
worst
demolished.
division in football by a wide
A
margin.
lot. Yeah.
That's crazy.
All right.
Those theater classes are paying off.
Those theater classes.
Jesus. Oh man.
On that note,
Yeah, so moving right along. Mike Glennon. You got Washington going up against Tampa Bay is traveling up here to Washington this week. Mike Glennon outperforms RG3 in that game, and
Yeah, is it
they get
Jake?
their second. They get their second win. So the fantasy
Jake the Snake McCown.
Yeah, doesn't my good friend Jake the Snake McCown get the start?
Oh yeah, he does. You're right. They're going back to Jake. They're going back to Jake. So I still think Mike Glennon outperforms RG3.
Tampa Bay quarterback Matt Glennon.
Matt Glennon and Jake McCown combined
Matt Locks.
will outperform Washington. But yeah, so the Washington loses, and whoever finishes for the Bucks outperforms whatever RG3 does over the entire course of the 60 minutes. So,
All right. There we
anyone
go.
want to end it, or are we going to end on that? I should have waited and ended on
Drew
Bridgewater.
Stanton outplays Matt Stafford.
Who?
Drew Stanton outplays
Stanton.
Matt Stafford in Arizona versus Detroit.
ooh,
I like that. I like that a lot.
not me. I like Detroit a lot.
I know.
Trying to think.
All right. Well, I
Jim
think we'll end on
Harbaugh.
that then.
Jim Harbaugh's weird mouth focus comes back during this game.
Oh, man. All right. Well, it's crazy. Week 11 is here.
Jeez.
Slowly moving to the
Playoff.
three-quarter poll.
The playoff hunt.
There's only, 3 weeks left to get into the
3 weeks
playoffs,
to
folks.
get
So
into the playoffs.
I can win out the rest of the season, and I'll only finish 6-7. So
I'm
there's that.
so nervous about the next 3 weeks in fantasy. Our league is so tight. It's absurd.
So good luck to you all, and
Toy.
may
Like a
you
toy.
lock your
Toy.
spot in the playoffs. So,
Like,
and we'll see you next week.